All right, welcome to World Gospel Broadcasting Network. I am Abanda Edwin. Thank you for tuning in this edition of the program. We will be looking at conflict resolution in the church. How do we solve issues when they come up in the church? In recent times, we have more division in the church. What do we do so that we solve these problems? With me, I'm having Minister Echek David all the way from Douala, who will be giving us analysis and way out in these issues. Mr. David, welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Banda.
Conflict resolution. When we talk about conflict, we talk about disorganization, disagreement, a lot of problems. So if you are a preacher, you are in a congregation, and there are problems in the church, maybe they don't want to see you again. Maybe some people, the church is in camps. Maybe you have overstayed in that place for too long. What do you do in order to see that you solve the problem?
To me, as a preacher, when there is a conflict, in most cases, the congregation will be split. The congregation will be in camps. It are two camps. Mm-hmm. When the congregation is already split in two camps and you are a preacher, you are in that congregation, it means that there will be nothing that you might do by your own technical know-how or knowledge to put things together, to make things to become one again, to make people to become one again. At that moment, maybe will be above you. Mm-hmm. What do you do? And at a certain time, some preachers or some members of the congregation, they will struggle to call other preachers around to see how they can come, if really, because some of them will not want it. Some of them that might be, they really have the fear of God in them. They'll struggle to call some other preachers to come and see how the situation can be solved, how they can bring peace, how they can bring love again in that congregation. Mm-hmm. If they try all this and you see that it is not going, what will you do? Will you still stay there?
Some preachers, given it's only in America and other places that you can go to a congregation and you see like 10 pictures of different preachers that have passed through that congregation and walk. But one problem in Africa is like if somebody settles somewhere, it's like it's his permanent farm where he will not go anywhere again. Not to say that maybe it's a congregation that is growing, it's a bigger congregation that is giving him a little bit of something that is reasonable for him to sustain. Sometimes some may come to a congregation, they raise that congregation from a small congregation, and when it's growing, they don't feel like going anywhere again because they think they have worked and it's time to eat.
Preachers don't need to see it that way, because if we start seeing it that way, it means that automatically God will certainly hold us or definitely hold us one day responsible for some things that might have happened in the churches or in the congregation. God will hold us responsible. Because if there is division and you see that maybe people are seeing you, the Christians are seeing you like a problem, you are not supposed to stay there. You are not supposed to stay there, because if you continue to stay there or you struggle like to see that you must force yourself to be there, automatically you will destroy the congregation completely. You will cause some people to go away that maybe they will not even watch God again.
Now, you did talk about solving the problem by inviting some people to come. Who invite? Is it the preacher or the other fighting party?
That's why I said before, I said when there is a conflict in the church, you see that in most cases, the congregation is split into two. There are camps in the congregation.
Correct.
At times, two camps. One camp might be for the preacher. Some people will be there supporting the preacher, while some other people will be against the preacher. And those people that are against the preacher, they will automatically become an enemy. They will be against those other Christians that are for the preacher. You see that there's already a problem, a big problem. So what will you do at this junction as a preacher? What will you do? Will you still stay there?
And do you not think that when you invite some people to come, even no matter the truth that their other colleagues may see in the matter, if they support the other camp will say that they are doing so because it's their friend or it's their colleague. If you support the other side, they say because of the lineage that people may have with people. So, do you not see that to be a problem?
Normally, it should just be that some other preachers should come so that, to me, my own point of view is this. It's good for other preachers to come in, or pastors, bishops to come in. Are you getting me?
I'm getting you.
When they come in, they will get to know the truth of the matter, get to the root cause of the matter, and they'll be able to diagnose the truth of this issue. The truth, because the truth can never be hidden. When the truth have been seen, when they have seen the truth, when they have diagnosed the truth at that moment, even if I am the preacher of that congregation, even if I'm living at that moment, I'll live with my conscience clear, with a clear conscience. Because at times, if you a preacher, there's a problem in the congregation, you just decide to leave the congregation because there's a problem, there's conflict in the congregation. When you go, those people that were against you, they'll start blackmailing you to bring up different, they will bring up different scenarios, they will start saying something different against you, that this is what happened, this is what Mr. David did, this is what Mr. Abanda did, this is what Mr. A or B did before leaving. Are you getting me?
Getting you very well.
And at that moment that you are not still in that congregation, it will be very difficult for people to really get to know the truth about the matter. So it's good for other ministers to come in, meanwhile you are still there, so that even if they are leaving, that the matter has not yet been resolved, then as ministers,
they will bear witness to the true story from the both parties to understand why you are living, so that nobody will paint another picture from the reality that has been put out. Because if they do that, the preachers will counteract it because they were there to witness it.
Yes, the preachers will stand like your own witness. They will stand for you like witnesses that were there to see everything, and they were able to diagnose the issue after hearing from the both parties. Now,
do you think that do you think that at some point the situation may be above the church, that administration have to come in to solve the problem?
Administration, how?
Maybe we may go to get police, get gendarme, or get the DO or some administrators to come in and so. Because what if preachers come there, all the both parties are still stiff. No one wants to listen to anybody. All of them are still in their stiff corner. The preacher don't want to leave. The other party don't want to submit. There is unforgiveness. There is chaos. There is enmity. There is hatred. Maybe blood can flow. What do you think?
You know, it is only through one issue that we can bring administration when it comes with respect to Christianity, with respect to religious issues, with respect to the church. Only in a situation if we see the matter at hand, if the matter becomes a criminal matter. If the matter have not reached that level that has become a criminal, that we can start seeing it as a criminal offense, we are not supposed for any reason to bring in administrators inside or administration.
But if a matter has been pending for years upon years, there is no solution to it. The more the problem stays, it looks like it deepens itself because there is no solution coming to it. And what if a preacher says, I will remain to this place over my dead body? And even no matter the advice, it doesn't. How does that sound to you?
If the preacher says, I will remain in this place over my dead body, it means that at that moment, that preacher is you are not even longer doing the will of God. You are not even longer doing the will of God. You are dead to
because dead people will not preach, and dead people will not save souls. And anywhere we can preach, in as much as we see that, because if people are not recipients of what you are doing, you'll be doing it for yourself, right? Because we are out to serve people, not serving ourselves.
Yes.
And serving them to the glory of God. Now, within the church, how does the preacher operate in order not to have a divided church? And do we live to work on contract? Like in Cameroon, we don't really have contract. People just say, come and be working with us, and this. So do they fire you at any time? And who does the firing? Or you just decide to leave if you think that things don't work? Or how are we supposed to operate in such a manner that there is harmony, peace, tranquility, and understanding?
You know one thing, Mr. Abanda?
Go ahead, sir.
We cannot say we work in an atmosphere like in Cameroon that might be one day when you are working more, you are supposed to be expected. Put it in mind behind your mind that one day problem might arise.
Mm-hmm.
Problem might arise. The problem arise. What am I going to do? Will I force myself that I must stay with these people, or I will go?
Mm-hmm.
Those are some of the things that we are supposed to be thinking about as preachers.
Mm-hmm.
Because despite what you will do, there are some people that will not still see what you are doing as anything.
Yeah, you know that when people hate people, no matter what you do, they will never see anything good again in it. They'll just look for ways that you should even make more mistakes so that they have grounds to nail you.
Yeah, because when you see like Christians, when as they're in the church, some people they think that the church is their business. Because there are some people who have been in congregation for a very long time and they have been instrumental in that congregation.
Yes, and just to add, not to even to forget about those that started the congregation, like those that started, they feel like it is now their industry.
Yes, and then moreover, when they have been in a congregation, there are some family that are instrumental in some congregation, physically, financially, and in short, in every aspect.
Influentially,
okay. No, when some people are supporting a congregation financially, automatically they become influential over that congregation.
Yeah, they have grip over it, and if you have grip over the preacher,
Yeah, because if that family is a big family in that community, now they'll be thinking that without them the church cannot operate. They'll be thinking that anything in the church, anything that is happening in the church is due to their strength or their technical know-how.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in that situation, when you come now as a preacher, when you are going in a congregation as a preacher, know that family will want that you must be under them. They'll be struggling to instruct you what you are supposed to do. The day that you do either one or two things that is contrary to what they are thinking, know that from that moment you might start having problems.
Yeah, this brings me to another question. Does it mean that those who supporting preachers be the one to dictate what they should do, or preachers should be allowed free? Understand, those who are supporting should understand that they are supporting the work of God and allow the preacher to operate within the ambit of the will of God, or they are the one to be dictating and remote controlling the preacher because they are putting in their finances for the work of God.
The way me and you we are seeing Christianity, that's not the way other people are seeing Christianity. The way we are seeing, there are two forms with respect to Christianity. There are some people who are seeing the things of God in the spiritual side of it, while some people are seeing it in the physical, in the carnal side of it. Some people see church like a social organization.
Mm-hmm.
So when people start seeing it in this two way, when they are Christian, that they are seeing the house of God or the church of God in two different views, becomes a problem. Somebody who is seeing it in a carnal view, that person will never agree with you in whatsoever you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So when problem want to come, when the person want to make problem, the person will make his problem.
So as we wrap up, what do you think is, as you join all of this together in your last word, what do you think that preachers and Christians should do in order to avoid conflict? And even when they arrive, what should we do in order not to allow them degenerate, disgrace the church, rub the name of God in the mud, and even disregard our credibility and integrity?
The problem is, yes, normally, when we go to congregation like in Cameroon, we don't have contract with them. We just go, they say, come and work. You just go, you start working. And to me, when, as a preacher, if you are in a congregation, you see that things are not going,
Mm-hmm.
just start seeing how you can prepare yourself and you live. So that by so doing, when you live at that early stage, your relationship with the people there, you people might still have a good relationship, even if after you must have lived. But if you struggle to keep yourself there, know that things will keep on getting worse and worse on daily basis until there will be a time that maybe you start seeing yourself wanting.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. The work will no longer be good. And moreover, most of these things are happening like this, Minister, just because most preachers, they don't have any other thing that they are doing. Maybe they are attached. The only occupation or the only vocation that they have is the preaching vocation.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you are in a place, maybe you are serving the congregation, they say leave. You start thinking that as I'm going, how am I going to start in the next place that I'm going?
Mm-hmm.
You see, when you start having those